There's a strange kind of power hidden behind a calm smile. A power that doesn't shout, doesn't threaten, doesn't fight, it calculates. You've met people like this, maybe once, maybe often. The kind of person who makes you feel like you're in control when in reality they're pulling every string. They don't need to force you. They make you want to do what they already planned for you to do. This is the Machiavellian mind. Cold, elegant, strategic, and almost invisible. It starts early. The seeds of manipulation are planted long before the first lie, long before the first betrayal. It begins with observation. A young mind learns that the world doesn't always reward honesty. It rewards results. They notice how people respond to charm, how they react to fear, how they bend under guilt. They see that power doesn't belong to the strongest, but to the most perceptive. And in that quiet realization, something changes. They stop reacting to life and start designing it. While others move emotionally, the Machiavellian learns to move logically. They don't ask, "What do I feel?" They ask, "What do I gain?" Every interaction becomes a calculation. Every word, a move. Every silence, a test. A Machiavellian doesn't manipulate because they're evil. They manipulate because they see life as a game of limited resources and shifting loyalties. To them, morality is flexible. What matters is control. They live by an unspoken creed. People are predictable, control their desires, and you control their choices. Imagine a crowded room. People talking, laughing, showing off, competing for attention. And there, standing quietly in a corner, is the manipulator, calm, watching. Their eyes move from person to person, scanning, evaluating, dissecting. They notice the subtle things, who interrupts whom, who seeks approval, who hides insecurity behind confidence. To most people, it's just noise. To them, it's a map, a living, breathing blueprint of power dynamics. They identify the weak links, the ones desperate to belong, the ones hungry for validation, the ones secretly afraid of being alone. Then, they plant the seeds. A compliment here, a shared secret there, a gesture that builds trust. Every move looks innocent, but it isn't. It's architecture. They're building foundations, not of friendship, but of leverage. And once they have that leverage, they never waste it. To understand how a Machiavellian thinks, you have to understand what they value. Control over connection, influence over emotion, dominance over empathy. Their mind works like a chessboard, emotionless, methodical, detached. They anticipate reactions before they happen. They play conversations in their head before they ever speak them. They imagine your resistance, your denial, your angers, and they plan 3 moves ahead of each. When they praise you, it's not random. They do it to lower your guard. When they disagree, it's to test your conviction. When they disappear, it's to make you chase. And when they reappear, they know exactly how you'll feel. Relieved, confused, guilty. They understand that humans crave patterns, and so they create chaos. They give affection, then take it away. They offer help, then withdraw it. They build dependence, then watch as you start to need them. Because to them, the ultimate power isn't to control someone's actions. It's to control their emotions. Niccolò Machiavelli, the man who inspired the term Machiavellian, once wrote that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. A true manipulator takes this idea and reshapes it. They don't want to be feared. Fear creates rebellion. They want to be admired because admiration is softer. It blinds you while you willingly hand over your control. And the greatest trick they play is making you believe they're harmless. They'll tell you stories that make them seem vulnerable. They'll share fake confessions, reveal weaknesses that are carefully chosen to make you drop your guard. You'll feel special, trusted. You'll think, they opened up to me. But in truth, they've only mirrored what they already saw in you. They reflect your emotions like a mirror. If you're angry, they're calm. If you're sad, they're understanding. If you're happy, they're radiant. You see yourself in them. And that's why you trust them. Trust, the weapon they use without ever drawing it. A Machiavellian's greatest strength isn't manipulation. It's patience. They wait. They study. They learn what motivates you, what scares you, what makes you question yourself. They never rush. They'll let you think you're winning, just so you don't notice that the game itself belongs to them. If they want loyalty, they'll make you believe they've given you something rare, their trust. If they want obedience, they'll give you a taste of power, just enough to keep you hungry. If they want to destroy you, they won't attack you. They'll make you destroy yourself. They know that when you control the narrative, you don't need to fight. You simply guide. A word here, a pause there, a suggestion dressed as advice. And soon you're making choices you think are your own, but they were planted in your mind long ago. That's the true art of manipulation, when the victim believes it was their idea all along. Inside the Machiavellian mind, empathy exists, but only as an instrument. They understand feelings, but they don't feel them the same way. They use empathy not to connect, but to predict. When you cry, they don't comfort you. They measure how far they can push you before you break. When you're angry, they don't calm you. They calculate how your anger can be redirected. They don't want to destroy everyone, only those who stand in their way or hold something they desire. For the rest, they'll appear as protectors, mentors, friends, even lovers. They know exactly how to make you feel safe while keeping you under their influence. And when you start to suspect something, they'll flip the script. They'll make you question yourself. You're overthinking. You're too sensitive. You always assume the worst. You'll start to wonder, maybe you are overreacting. Maybe they're right. That's when they win. The Machiavellian mind thrives in confusion. Clarity is their enemy, because when people see clearly, they break free. So they keep you in a loop. Cycles of reward and punishment, truth and deception, affection and withdrawal. They keep you guessing because guessing means you're engaged. And the more emotionally invested you become, the less you think logically. They understand a painful truth about human nature. People don't want the truth, they want comfort. And a skilled manipulator knows how to weaponize comfort. The most dangerous part is that many of them don't see themselves as villains. They believe they're simply playing the game better than others. In their mind, everyone manipulates. Some just do it clumsily. They justify their actions by results. If their plan works, it means it was right. If someone gets hurt, it's collateral damage. They believe life rewards those who can shape it, not those who complain about its unfairness. And maybe, in a twisted way, they're right. Because history is filled with Machiavellian thinkers, from rulers to businessmen, politicians to lovers. They rise because they see what others ignore. That power doesn't belong to the most moral, but to the most strategic. But even the greatest manipulators face one enemy they can't outsmart: time, because manipulation is exhausting. To maintain control, you must constantly adjust, constantly predict, constantly stay 3 steps ahead. One mistake, one emotional slip, and the illusion cracks. The people who once adored them begin to see the pattern. The flattery feels hollow, the empathy feels rehearsed, the mask begins to slip. And when it does, it doesn't break slowly. It shatters. The same people they controlled turn on them, realizing that the trust they gave was built on deceit. The Machiavellian is left alone, not because others destroyed them, but because they destroyed the one thing that sustains influence: authenticity. Yet even then, some don't learn. They rebuild, re-strategize, adapt. For them, manipulation isn't a choice, it's survival. They don't know how to connect genuinely. The world to them is a battlefield of perception. Every interaction is either a win or a loss. They are cursed to calculate forever. So how do you recognize a Machiavellian mind before it consumes you? Look for patterns. When someone always knows exactly what you want to hear, be careful. When they never take blame yet always appear as the victim, step back. When they rush intimacy, build trust too quickly, or make you feel like you're their only one, pay attention. A true manipulator hides not behind lies, but behind truths twisted to their advantage. And if you confront them, expect the storm. They'll deny, deflect, project. They'll accuse you of the very things they're guilty of. They'll turn your logic into confusion until once again you question yourself. That's their design, not to win arguments, but to dismantle your certainty. Because once you doubt yourself, you no longer resist them. The Machiavellian mind isn't confined to individuals. It shapes societies. Entire governments, corporations, and ideologies are built on manipulation. Propaganda is mass-scale Machiavellianism. Control the story and you control the crowd. Control fear and you control obedience. They use the same principles: selective truths, emotional triggers, manufactured enemies. The techniques never change, only the scale does. From personal relationships to politics, the core mechanism remains identical. Create perception, sustain illusion, extract control. But here's the paradox: Machiavellians can't survive without the very thing they exploit: trust, and trust is fragile. The more they manipulate, the more they must maintain the illusion, and the heavier the burden becomes. they start to lose themselves. They forget who they were before the mask. Because when you spend your life pretending, the line between truth and deception fades. They begin to manipulate even themselves, convincing their own mind that they're right, that they're justified, that they're still in control. Until one day, control slips through their hands, and they realize the truth they always avoided. You can manipulate everyone, but never your own emptiness. The Machiavellian mind walks a lonely path, surrounded by people but connected to none, respected but never loved, feared but never trusted. They win the game, but lose the human within it, and yet they can't stop. Because once you've tasted the power of influence, genuine vulnerability feels like weakness. They'd rather rule alone than live equal. That's the tragedy of manipulation. It gives power but robs peace. It builds empires but burns souls. So the next time you feel like someone's pulling you like a puppet, pause, watch, listen. Because every manipulator reveals themselves in small cracks, inconsistencies in tone, mismatched empathy, a too perfect story. Don't confront them directly. That's what they expect. Step back, observe from distance, and most importantly, don't feed their control with your reaction. A Machiavellian loses their power not when you fight them, but when you stop playing their game, because manipulation only works on those who respond. Silence, clarity, and distance are their undoing. The Machiavellian mind is both brilliant and broken. It understands people deeply but loves them shallowly. It builds power but destroys peace. It sees the truth of human nature, that everyone wants to feel important, loved, and safe, and it uses that truth like a weapon. They are the shadow architects of influence and the unseen forces behind decisions, the quiet hands guiding chaos. And yet in the end, they are prisoners of their own illusion, forever needing control, yet never truly free. Because true freedom doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from mastering yourself. That is the difference between wisdom and manipulation. One uses understanding to connect, the other to control. And that is the tragedy and brilliance of the Machiavellian mind.